Hello, welcome to another video on the channel. We've gone back to making semi-regular videos, so let's see how long we can keep this one up for. This video is all about my Inglenook puzzle here, which is a small layout. It's only 4 foot long because it's an offcut from the end of a 8 foot by 4 foot board, and it's about, well, less than a foot wide up this end and about 2 foot wide up that end. Now, I am filming this video on the floor, as you may be able to see, which means that we've got a bit of a funny angle here, so hopefully you can look past that. And I'm also doing this in the evening time, so you may see occasional glimpses of my feet. So if that's your thing, then you're welcome. These aren't my feet, by the way, these are my hands. They're just, my fingers are quite short, so understand if you make the mistake there. This video is contains a shout out to my #1 fan, Glenn. Hello, thanks for watching. This is an Inglenook puzzle. Effectively, it is a small shunting layout, but you can play it almost like a little game, and I'll sort of talk about that in this video. So what we have a top lane here where my engine shed is, where the Oxford Janus shunter is just hiding at the moment. Let's bring that out. This layout hasn't been used in a while, so the track might be a little bit dirty, so if there is sort of stuttering and things, I'll have to give it pokes. Apologies. The lane that it has just stopped in front of is irrelevant. That is not part of the requirements to make an Inglenook puzzle. That is just me trying to be cute and have a sort of a portal to the main line, if you will. That's where this clam is sat at the moment. And then we have 3 main lanes here. This one can hold 5 wagons. The other 2 can hold 3, or are designed to hold 3. I think they can actually hold 4, depending on the size of the wagon that you wish to use. And obviously I have sceneried up suitable parts of this, and have not sceneried up other parts of it, which is why there's exposed board here, which we will do at some point. Look, there's discarded rail in between these rails here. It's one of my favourite parts of this layout. It's just a bit weird. Now, the whole point of an Inglenook puzzle, stop it, the whole point of an Inglenook puzzle is to shunt a specific train together. Now, the way you would do that is, depending on how difficult you'd want it, you would tend to have 8 various wagons scattered between each of these sidings. Now, I do not have 8 to hand, so I'll just cope with what we've got, which is mainly kit-built wagons, with perhaps the notable exception of this trying one on the end here. So suppose we start like this here. Now, the idea is you would devise some sort of solution to randomly draw a order in which to assemble these wagons together. So suppose that the 5 wagons I wished to assemble on this one were from shortest to largest. So you're talking this one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, in that order, right? Try and follow along. Did you bring a pen and paper? If not, you should have done. Now, the whole idea is you have to be able to shunt that train together while only putting in the certain number of wagons permissible in each of these lanes. Now, because these are all kit builds and none of them have couplings on, I can't show that properly, so I'm going to use my hand. So, obviously you have 1 wagon here, which is useless. So what you would do, now the whole point of this is a logic puzzle, so this might take some time for me to work out. I'm doing this in real time. So what I would do, if I was going to do this first, the locomotive would come along, latch onto this wagon, which is the one, as a reminder, we wanted here. I'd bring it out of this siding without knocking the signal box into the end of next week. Pull it into here where we want it to be, but only to attach to this wagon, at which point you bring them both out and into your head shunt into here, and deposit this one here. That's what I would do. Next, you would dump this one back into this siding. Then you would use the locomotive again, steal this one and place it here. And you can see where this is going. This is going to take some time to assemble a train together. Then you would take this one and pop it there, again 3 and 3, and take this one and drop it into here. So now you have the rear of the train, the tallest wagon, where you want it. Next, we want this one to be here. So what you would probably do, just trying to figure this one out, because I don't know how this is going to go. You would probably take this one and pop it here, and this one and pop it there, then taking this one to here, shunting these two back to here, and bringing this one here. This next movement would be a little bit straightforward, where you would get this one, pop it there, followed by going back and getting this one, popping it here, grabbing that one, whacking it there, popping that one on there. Now, this has been made to look a bit easier than it otherwise would have been, because I've only got 6 wagons on the board here, not 8. If you had these sidings here full up of surplus to requirements wagons, then it would be a lot harder. You'd have to do a lot more shunting backwards and forwards, and games of this can take upwards of 20 minutes. But I think it is just fun to have a layout that's quite a bit smaller, so I can focus more on the scenery, with quite a more detail in it at the moment anyway, where you can operate it like a game. If you were interested, the reason that the controls are built into the frame, which is just a forward and backwards switch and then a dial, was that the idea was, once upon a time, that this would get taken to exhibitions and people could have a go on it while something else happened, another sort of layout operated or another layout shunted about. So that's why the controls are as they are, and it's all rather good fun. The electrics did play up recently, and I'm not entirely sure why, because they now work as you would imagine, or as I would expect. The only thing that doesn't quite work is that this has a potentiometer extension shaft on it, because there's boards about that thick, so the control board's there, and that seems to slip on occasion, but that's nothing that a bit of glue, I'm sure, can't solve. If you think this wagon that's just gone through is very loud, you probably are correct, and it has the old split axle wheel things going on, and so it doesn't quite fit on the track overly properly. But it is just fun to sit and operate for a while, even if that is a bit of a heavy shunt, like what Flying Scotsman did the other day. Here we go. Oh, it's all gone badly here, hasn't it? So this is like my sort of scenario layout, and we'll do a bit of scenics on here in the future. There's a couple of things I want to do to finish it off, but I think maybe now if we take a look at some of the closer details, and then I will bid you farewell for another unspecified length of time. Some of the finer details, at least for now then, are we have the engine shed up this end, which is just a Metcalf engine shed, whereby the end of it was cut off and put on the side to make a little sort of lean-to, and that nicely fits sort of a decent sized tank engine or a diesel, such as is in there at the moment. And we have the spur off to the main line, some discarded track to the side of it. Let's try and focus this slightly better. The light isn't overly great here. And we have the main signal box and the beginnings of what will be a car park area before coming over to the 3 lanes of track. We have some more, again, more discarded track between the rails, a section where the wagons stack up. Got a grounded van body here with a pile of discarded track and a chopped down tree behind it. I would like to scenery in here a bit more, but partially you don't really want to put anything whereby, because I haven't used any sort of automatic uncouplers, you don't want to put anything where you might have to get to block where your hands may end up having to go to uncouple rolling stock. And then we have the terraced house street in the background, sort of some a normal set of houses there, one with a bay window in the back, in the front obviously, and some solid rear gardens. And then we have this street, we have the startings of a boarded up house there with sort of some gardens, all of which will become significantly more sceneried by the time this layout is done, which hopefully I'll show in a future video as and when I can be bothered to 1, finish this layout, and 2, produce that. So thank you for watching, take care, and in a future video, I guess.